Camera over there, so
Yeah,
somebody else can help us.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna make you stop.
It didn't look like it was 2 tenths on the ground, but it was.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah. Let's try to see.
Yeah. Notice I'm over here too.
Morning, Danny.
How are you doing, Jay?
Nothing there.
You baby.
How are you today?
Morning.
Hi, I'm Melinda Ryan.
Kenny Moore.
I know you.
I know you too.
I'm over here on the side.
Long time no see.
I know it.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Well, heck,
They may have some more she ain't got cracked up yet.
that means I have time to grab a cup of coffee, right?
Yep. How those rippers doing out there at Hawkins?
Pretty good.
Still chunky though.
Well, part of it is, some of it,
Will that stuff break up if you run over?
most, 90% of it will. There's gonna be some that will never break up. Actually, the dozer we got is not quite big enough, but that's all I could come up with, or all I could come up with.
What they find wrong with the box at the airport? Okay, when Jerry going out there,
He didn't know how to work it, he couldn't figure it out.
they run part of the wash.
Would be surprised.
Is it working now or still there?
Can I get you to take a load of gravel, just north of Bo's Pit and dump it out there by that tank? There's a, cleared area right in there. And, we want to patch that down, so it has to run off and put some, ditches down there.
North of Bow.
Yeah, we go in off that highway, just keep going, there's a gate, just keep going right up there through there.
I guess I've ever been there.
Alright. Here's the pit up there. That's on this gate right here. Tank right here.
Okay. Go off down this way to the windmill.
Yeah, the windmill's right down here. There's a gate right here. We don't hardly ever use that road anymore, it's kind of grown up, but you can still get down there.
Tank dam or something like that.
Yeah, the tank down runs like this, but there's a clear area right down here.
That's the prettiest place out there. We had a homecoming party out there one night, and that around that pond. Yeah,
Yeah.
that tank is beautiful.
Yeah, it is, and, it had got really, really, really low, but
It
it caught
did.
a lot of water, so it's about, not quite full, but it's almost there.
Well, good. Most of them are mud pits right now.
Yes. We had been out looking for meteorite falling last night. I don't know, it was about 11:30, I guess. We went out. I went to bed, and DP said not long after I went to bed is when it rained.
Mm,
Went in, the sky perfectly clear.
you're kidding.
I didn't hear a thing, so.
I guess this would be the time of year to go. I always forget it this time of year when the meteorites are out.
You see me, right?
I didn't see it. Julie said she saw 18
Oh,
in Stanton night before last. I didn't go look. I had to go to work the next day.
Yeah, that thing do stand up there and
Yeah, I gotta get my meteorites.
and it worked too.
Did it
yeah,
really?
there you go. Good way to start a Monday.
I ain't no fool.
Yeah.
No, that's for the JPs, the new stuff, Ronnie got a letter on it, we had to, purchase him an iPad or something similar, so when he goes off to these schools, he can see what they're presenting, because it's all going online, and most of his reports now will have to come straight off of some of that stuff. So, Justice Court Technology is actually paying for that iPad.
Sheriff?
I wished I had an iPad, but
I wish I did too.
What was it? Justice Court Training Division wrote me a letter on that iPad, that's what it was. Their next training cycle will be strictly on how to utilize it. They're pushing all justice courts to go to all that from about. And the next training session is to teach these guys how to use it. So I talked to Mike, felt like that's, they requested that we provide that for our JP. Something so that's what they're gonna require them to do, so I felt like we better get ahead of that.
Come September 1st, file electronically file any appeals.
Justice Court is going to the same system, so I figured we might ought to get Mike trained on that.
Don't get us one.
We've got to check into that, because I think it's September 1st. And I've got supposedly got an appeal coming in. Good morning.
Melinda Ryan.
Melinda Rhymes. Oh, you look like Evelyn said. I've had heard all my life.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
It's a good.
You got a
She's a
personality.
good lady. Thank you. Thank you.
How do you spell your first name?
Melinda, M-E-L-I-N-D-A.
I've had M-E-M-Y. They come, but M-E.
How are you? Doing good. Not much the matter. It's Billy Kirk. You went to school with my sister.
No, I'm not.
She's doing good. She's gonna be a triple grandmother come about yeah. Of course she's got the three girls. All right, the oldest girl, they've kind of had a few problems conceiving, so they go to fertility.
That's it, man.
Well, they're gonna have twins. They're gonna have a boy and a girl. And the middle girl and her husband, they kind of waited on them to give them a chance to have the first child. Well, those other kids were having so much trouble, I guess.
Granddaughter.
It all happened at the same time. So within 2 months, she's gonna have 3 grandchildren.
Her life is
Just gonna change. But it's probably gonna start, they don't know how long Mindy can carry the twins, so it's probably gonna start sometime. Hers will be early. Well, she's taller. Yeah, but the babies are growing, because she is.
Yeah, well, that'd be the only boy.
Yeah, the only boy.
He won't be built on town, he won't into railroad spiders.
Well, he'll be spoiled.
Probably. Good to see you.
Little girl, Gary's fixing to get
Yeah.
granddaughter.
Her place, I think. You buying lunch?
You bet. That's what we're doing. Where y'all wanna go? To my house? Have sandwiches?
No,
Oh,
that wasn't what we had on our mind.
thank you.
Hi, Dan.
How are you?
Good. Mr. Hoy? Did you get your hands?
him Monday, Saturday we talked to him.
They're good.
You get your tent?
It got hot down here
That's what
and
our
they took off to the mountains.
Ask him
I
something.
wish I was there too.
Are you house sitting?
That's yeah, that's my official job right there. It's a pretty sweet job.
Whatever.
Well, we,
What's VCSO stand for?
Something veteran, I'm sure.
Oh, veterans, oh, okay. Officer, veterans, something officer. He's got us tuned out.
Your name's down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome, perfect tractor. Something we have very little use for here. This is the Kirk Club. Team of man, it's what you need right here. Will fix you up. Over to them. We'll make some sets.
We gonna come into that 30,000 each
Per minute.
meeting. You're used to it.
Ronnie, what does that VCSO stand for, Veterans Officer?
Yeah, veteran service officer.
What's the C stand for? VCSO?
Veterans service. Veterans Commission Service Officer. I'll think, you caught me off guard, right? Veterans Service Commission Officer. Veterans Service.
Veterans.
Veterans Commission Service Officer. There we go, we'll get it down here. Huh?
Yeah, right.
No, that's it, that's actually it, I just had to.
Okay.
It's a good word.
Is this the, fully printed out one here?
this one is, this replaces what we got?
Has David had time to run through his calculator to double check?
He has not.
He just started doing it this morning.
David, boy, he's a man on that deal. You get that 10 key out and get the rally.
I need somebody to go through it and check it.
That was a trip, man. Tell me about it.
And it's great.
I didn't get one
Right.
picture from Sturgis. Pretty disappointing there, dude.
I got some pictures of Sturgis.
You went to Thursday.
During the rally. Can you believe that?
You gonna buy it?
No,
You're a brave man.
I
thought
didn't.
about
Get a
it.
load of this. We didn't even stop other than at the red lights. We didn't. There's no place to park a four-door Ford pickup. If you don't have a motorcycle that you can back into a little crevice, you ain't getting out. We stopped at a convenience store on the way out of town and bought the t-shirt.
So you're saying they drew a crowd?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't see your cousin, he was up there.
Which one?
Tim?
Tim was up there?
He was up there all week, him Randy Morgan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Well,
you need to check in on Facebook more often.
Yeah,
that's
right.
nah, I'm not a Facebook guy.
I come in and find me one every day, took George Brown and pick his up. And Jake there,
Harley sitting there? Hey, where'd y'all go to Max's, Kawasaki?
no, went to Harley.
They had a Harley over there, Max's over there. Went over to get an oil filter from my Kawasaki Mule, and they're left there at the motorcycle. I don't know what my wife would do when I got home with it. I better get this oil filter.
No, he was supposed to say he would call you.
Man riding helicopter, they ain't no money.
He needs some help on it real bad. But right now, he got home with water for one day and then water. He's dying.
His holiday, something really.
Really?
He didn't tear it up so much, he laid it over.
Well, you sit right there next to him, and you'll be.
I heard him.
I brought him up, he was all right, and he was home.
He was on his way to start. It's on the Monday night, which was I guess it started that weekend.
Now it's just.
Monday night, we were in South Dakota, and we could get, that was their local, they reported that Sturgis killed.
No.
They had killed 3 and handed out 1,058 citations.
Good.
All the years you've been here, I've
What
never
we
been
start
there.
taking over for.
They didn't say. Yeah, but they did.
Morning, sir.
There'll be some movies in there too. I see on History Channel.
But they had already killed. We saw one lay on the road.
Really?
Yeah, he come over a little hill, I don't know, something run out in front of him, you know how them roads are. Anyway, there were people there flagging, and we had to stop for a while, and they let us go around. They were tending to him.
Biker?
Yeah, biker. He had come over a hill, and you could see his skid mark, and you could see where he laid it over. I don't know if something run out in front of him, or he just lost it on that curve or what. That's the part I can imagine, him losing it on that curve, because they'll pass you, and I know passing zones going up a hill.
Yeah.
They said that down there, there's blue hills right from the front center, I don't remember what it's called, blue hills, walk up long. They said if that was messed up or doing anything, they'd hold it back, take everything off and put it on the new sign.
No kidding.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Here's your check.
Cool, thank you.
Is that all?
I think so.
Okay.
That number 6
Mm-hmm.
is for, like in case of emergency, because schooling didn't include, emergencies or hospitalization or death in the family or something like that, so. Thought maybe we should put that in there, because the other one, last commissioner's reading only included, school.
Oh, no. Boy, still waiting.
I'm thinking, y'all were really quick today.
don't think your typing skills were up to speed.
Look, my bookkeeping brought that up. I'll get on the calculator.
You think those kids know that these get turned in,
I don't imagine.
Somebody was big into faces that day.
Pretty slow day.
Pretty slow. Week, this was the week.
Yeah.
The what?
Corey's been invited to birthday for another night. I didn't know that. Corey asked me. I looked at the hair up there, one in Colorado.
No, that's rolling forward.
100 bucks. So have y'all broke out yet, Hoy?
We disbanded.
Y'all disbanded?
What happened?
One gig.
I didn't make it to that one.
Well, you didn't have it till the two that should have been. Yeah, they just about,
They just, everybody quit you?
after Dave Hughes. It went good. It went real good. A lot of compliments on it. Wanted to book me again.
Well, Tracy Lawrence, he's not gonna be here in September, disbanded too soon.
Yeah. He called.
I hope we're all here in September.
So,
Yeah.
Not thirsty, so we're drinking out of mud.
did you work this weekend?
I did.
So did they get anybody down there after the motorcycle? I mean, the, long places the other day?
No, actually, they didn't.
Did you see that record?
I heard all about that wreck.
Robert Bradley had a camera set up. You're not Robert.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, I didn't watch it, but I got
I mean, it's, you know, it's snap. You can just see that lawnmower. I mean, it's cartwheeling, there's legs in the air, and people running dirt down. I just glad one of my kids wasn't in on it. I thought,
Are they racing now? The boys? Oh.
We went and shrimp. We had shrimp on it.
Put them on a push mower, Gary.
Huh?
You have to put them on a push mower.
That just looks like ER all over.
Yeah.
You know who it was?
one of the most accident-prone people in the county.
You know what they say about those people? Precaution and safety is not the most protective.
That's right. But in that person's defense, he could get hurt just walking down the street. So,
I've seen him get hurt stepping off the curb.
yeah. Or trying to start a speed limit.
Boosted. Oh.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
Stepped off the curb and hurt himself.
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Girls are pretty creative though, ain't they?
Yep.
That capital fund, he's got enough money there to pay the dividend now?
Yeah.
That's good. Whenever they're gonna try to hold him up, you know?
I do not know. I think Ronnie talked to him.
Well, now, this lawnmower deal, out there in Florida County, getting a different picture than I told you, all in last week. You know, yeah, I never got it, and you email it back to me again, still not got it. I need that bid, check his, see he's got the correct email, he read it back to me, and it sounded correct. Judge, all lowercase, dot, S-P-O-E-C-O, at S-R-C.
Does still old faithful blow off the fire?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that just beautiful country?
Oh, yeah. It really is.
I'd like to move there when I retire.
I'm moving where I live, West Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I'd like to live in Bellevue, South Dakota.
Have you been there?
It's about like that sturdy stuff, it's got real gentle rolling on this grass, which I'm sure the snow is 97 foot deep there in the winter. Bellevue still got brick, still got big streets right down through the middle of town. Did you go through Bellevue? Right then, when I was up there, Cindy's still there.
Yeah. Deadwood, first one.
But I'm not a good slinger, I sure would. Did you make that hole they had dug that solid rock up there?
Where is that now?
At Deadwood.
No, we didn't get to get out there either,
How come?
because of the bikes.
Well, they got a hole up there, I don't know how deep it is. Mine, it looks like it's solid rock. It looks like that old hard rock, not gyp rock.
Where's this at?
Deadwood, South Dakota.
We started out, we went to, we started out at home, I guess. We went up to, the Dakotas and saw, monuments. Then we went across and went in the east entrance of Yellowstone and went out the northwest entrance of it. And then we came back in and went out the south entrance and come home.
So did you go through Cook City and all that?
I'd have to look at a map and tell you. I know there's some of that country that's just pretty sorry.
That's the first time you ever come.
Yes.
Awesome, isn't it?
It's pretty amazing.
So what'd you see, what'd you see up our local?
Part of wildlife,
We just went
we saw the elk and the bison and a couple of cows.
You see no bear?
No, they say you very seldom see the bear. The only way you see the bear is if you're camping outside and you got food.
We saw a grizzly.
Then you really don't want to see it too. That sign at the park says, you know, it would be rare for you to see a grizzly. We didn't drive 15 minutes in the park on the wrong side of the road, the first time we went up there.
Really?
You know, second time we went up there, I don't know where we was at, I couldn't tell you. That's where we saw that mama bear and 3 cubs. It was on the side of the hill.
Chase up the hill there, you never did get to see it.
You couldn't
Oh,
find it.
You couldn't find it.
We saw the eagle too. We still got to see the eagle.
See elk.
Yeah. We saw 2 bull elk.
You know,
They're pretty big.
there was a big old buffalo laying right there side of the road. We could just drive right up to it, and I'd give anything if I'd jumped out on that thing.
You would
Bulldog.
have? You'd have never had that heart attack if you'd have done it.
Wouldn't have got that far, would it? I did regret that every time. You drive across North Dakota?
Did you just go from South Dakota back up into?
No, we went from South Dakota back this way. We went to, what is that, Devil's Tower? Have you ever been there here?
Yeah, well, it's, you know, there's not much to see in North Dakota except that what they call the Badlands up there. And that's where you're driving along the country just as flat as it is up here on the plain. And it looks like you can see as far as the eye can see in every direction, and all of a sudden you just fall off the door. You know, just growing up, before you get in South Dakota, you know, Valentine, Nebraska, you ever been, that hole you fall off in? Well, that's kind of like it is there. You get down in that hole, and there's mountains down in there.
In the hole?
In the hole. But that's where Teddy Roosevelt had his big hunting lodge down in there, his house and all that stuff. That is really interesting to see all that stuff.
Oh.
But most people go to South Dakota and go to the, you know, monuments and all that stuff, and then they swing around and head up to Yellowstone and never do make it to North Dakota.
Well, that's what we did.
But like I say,
We did.
there's not much to see in North Dakota except for that.
A lot of overproduction going on up there.
You know, I didn't see it here. I saw a couple of little oil fields. We saw a strip mine there at Gillette. I mean, that was about the biggest thing we saw.
Yeah.
You see a lot of gas compressor stations up there in Montana, but we didn't see them true. We saw like 2 drilling rigs that whole stand up to there.
Is it cool up there?
No, it's a drought all the way through.
What about that corn in Nebraska? Did you go through Nebraska going up there? What about that corn?
It's irrigated, it's good. Everything that's got a pivot on it looks pretty good. Everything that's dry land, they cut and bale. Where they drove over to do that? I wondered about that.
Most system stuff is, you order it online, you got free shipping, and prices are got the same, and this is careful to pick it up on Friday, and they all begin to.
one of the jailers over there.
Is that,
He moved in here about the same time as that deputy premier did. But his temporaries were fixing to go out, so he had to get some of that.
That was on that when the gentleman sat behind you, backed the fire truck out over here by the pickup. They paid the entire bill and then sent us the $1,000 deductible.
Good. I forgot all about that.
Don't park right behind the fire truck.
Yeah, my pickup got backed over by the same fire truck one time. That's the reason I've got that new front end on there with that big grill guard and stuff. I could replace that whole thing with it cheaper than I could replace the chrome panels that got caved in. But mine happened out in Boondock.
in
everybody's defense, it's hard to keep married.
large residents in some states, it shows what they're about.
They never do.
They used to. Didn't furnish and see what all the legal were.
Oh, did I tell you that I got notice that, last bill from Texas Communications on the installation and all? Got the notice that it's been approved, so we should be getting a check on this.
How many bucks for the hot dog package? Is it 8? Well, you figure hot dogs cheap, don't you? I mean, that's under $1. That's about 50 cents a piece of a hot dog.
Yep.
With all the stuff.
Does that fit on the pyramid?
Well, you gotta wiggle it a little bit.
Did you get a chance to ask Linda if she'd been contacted about that September 5th?
No, this morning, she usually comes Monday morning, she wasn't there yet.
Well, I asked David Davis Friday what about that. He's chairman of the executive committee.
He what?
He's chairman of the executive committee down in Conway. I asked him, I said, wouldn't it have been appropriate to at least let me know a little ahead of time that you were gonna do this before the notices were sent out? He said, yeah. He said, I didn't know it either, but I got the letter. And I said, well, did they coordinate with Bobby? He said, Bobby's still in the executive meeting. He said, no, Bobby didn't know that either. You'd think they'd have said something to somebody here in Stonewall County.
Yeah. She might have got the letter.
Huh?
She might have got the letter one.
Yeah. You need to say, is it available that day? Can y'all?
Yeah, but I was gonna say, he might have
He
contacted.
may have. I would certainly hope so. Because best I can figure out, nobody here knew anything about that till I got that letter. That morning that I showed it to you. I tried to call Tom Smith down there, and he was out of the office. So, well, I try to call him back today, ask him about it.
On this, submitted by Patty Crowe that, I mean, before they were appointed for 2012, I think, but since precinct 2 is different, now because Tiffany quit, you know, we need to say for the general election, November general election in 2013. You make a motion. Because remember, y'all appointed them to fill that vacancy.
This list that I've got here is not.
Well, remember Tiffany and,
Yeah.
was, that they quit, so you have to appoint
Right.
Renee and Marcia, so, you know.
But we just appointed them for that one election.
Right, so you may need to do them for the November general election in 2013. All of them.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean?
Well,
'Cause they weren't
did we do
appointed.
just that one election, or did we do them
I
to
think-
complete this term?
I think, I have to go back and look.
I think we appointed them to complete this term.
See, it don't state what they did.
We need to check that though. If not, we'll need to have that on the next agenda.
You know, why do they have to have that service record? Of course, that's a credit. So, okay.
Did they ever find who took the generator?
No, we haven't got there. To the best of my knowledge, we haven't been in the leads on it. She knows about it.
Yeah, and, that girl's front desk, and called her, set it up, and we're gonna cater it, and they already there.
Well, at least somebody was notified about it. You know, like I told David over there, I said, you know, since they're gonna have it here, just across the street from my office, it seems to me that protocol should have required them to at least contact me prior to.
You're more or less hosting it.
Yeah, I'm hosting it, but I'm gonna be going to school. I mean, and that date was not fixed in stone, they could have scheduled that on a different date. But I'll be headed to San Antonio.
I think you could be here, what I was looking at the deal there, you gonna go be down at 6 yourself.
That's true.
But you could leave it here real early on 6.
I'm just saying, leave about 2 o'clock in the morning and get there, and get to San Antonio. Well, no, I'd have to leave at about midnight.
Yeah. You can do that.
Yeah. I can do that.
You got two options, serve on the board or
The
go
older
early.
I get, the more sleep I require.
They have all.
Two options, you can either be on the board or you can go early.
So it just seemed that it would have been kind of appropriate.
See, that's the total.
We would.
But that's the total bill.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
And then the
that
line
would've
shows
kinda
you-
kicked me off.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it ticked me off.
And I thought that's one of the fire company invoice bill, okay.
But I'm glad
I
that,
just showed you what is
contacted Linda.
general, what is road and bridge,
Yeah,
and what
I
is
couldn't see 'em.
fire department.
okay, just saying they're gonna do it, they'll contact you.
Yeah.
But they're gonna fix the new one, the same theirs. Sock it to them.
Fish fries, one,
Hmm.
double fish fries.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
Y'all want me to cut that thing off?
Oh, they probably need it, don't they?
Sure they do.
Yes, we are, but
I didn't realize our commercial was over anymore.
He's told that a long time ago.
I seen Corey the other day there at Tar, he called me, there you go. I said, yeah, I heard about those side of the belt. He said, well, there's a wheel where a hose used to hang, but they ain't no hose there.
I salvaged the hose, that's all I salvaged.
No, sir, it was to appoint them, to fill the vacancies, for the July 31st, 2012.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, we're covered here on this letter. We'll be appointing them for a one-year term beginning August the 1st.
Right, okay.
And it said, and for one election to be held on. Well, I don't think we even need that because
No.
after August the 1st, we're covered through August the 1st next year, so
Okay.
we're good to go.
You can appoint them for a 2-year term, as long as you have it, by order in the minutes, I think.
You have a hard enough time hanging on
Right.
to it for 1 year.
You do. I guarantee that all plant can
Yeah.
be appointed.
Yeah.
Anyway, they need two votes to carry over for the house used to be built. They moved that.
Okay, this begins, I think, September the 1st of August, because we're under 500,000. So I think it really begins August, or September the 1st, but that's
Well, on
okay,
this-
August 1st,
Yeah, on this letter from the
okay,
Secretary of State's office, I think that's,
yeah, I think that's for over 500,000.
August the 1st.
When we got spare time. So anyway, next time you have spare time, do you want his number or you want to call me?
I'll call.
Okay. That one, Steve meets you down there, lives at Plains. Well, today, he said, you know, for that accident, he was out there. Yeah, I know. Didn't we get any rain last night? What'd you get? Wet the highway?
It was still wet where it ran off my roof this morning, so.
Oh, it was?
My dirt was wet,
Your what was wet?
my dirt, it wasn't muddy, but it was
I
damp.
come to your house, you didn't get no rain.
It was wet when I
I'll
walked
tell you what
out.
you got about 1 o'clock though, you got a lightning strike over there somewhere that got me out of bed.
Yeah.
My wife thought somebody shot a gun. Man, that dude was loud.
I'm real good at getting those lightning strikes right now.
Hold on.
Kinda live in a hot spot over there.
Yeah.
See, that's like the other day, you know,
Metal rod on the roof.
I was just wondering how close any of us need to get
No,
from
but
mine.
it struck right
Let
against
those two
the roof,
lightning
it
strike.
started fire, so
Then
now I
they
have
both
another
up there on
one.
you.
Not- okay,
Well, that
but
one was
it's
across
gonna
from the other
Well, that's what
side.
them, that's what Kenny told me up there. He said, you gonna turn some of that stuff back, everything you got's burning.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. You got some red mud out that way, and once it dries,
Yeah, it's
you
hard.
can break it off with a hammer. My
Actually,
word,
that's the best way to get it
Did
off
you
with that
guys-
hammer.
Did you get yours off for it?
No, mine's still on.
Where'd it rain that much? Have to get mud on the beach.
Oh,
Right above the old big canyon going into that Gibson place, right on top of that, on this side, you know, that's just old red skull.
yeah.
And it was that thick in places on my pickup. And you just about had to have a hammer to bust it off. That stuff, you'd think it'd been into a kiln and been baked on. And of course, it kinda has been running about 110 degrees.
Get where we get on.
All right, we got the bills?
I know.
All right, let's call this session. Stonewall County Sheriff's Report order. Conduct business of the county. First item on the agenda, pay the bill. Everybody's had an opportunity to look them over. Any questions or comments about any of them? I'll entertain a motion.
I moved pay the bills.
Got a motion to pay the bill, have a second? Got a second, Dave, all in favor? Any opposed, same sign? Item number 2 is consent list. Minutes of the previous meeting. Y'all have an opportunity to look those over.
Is that all that's on there, was the minutes?
Huh?
That's all we do?
No, it's all the monthly
Minutes,
reports.
tax assessor, collectors,
I
county
need to know
district.
that, I need to copy all of it.
Here.
Oh, okay. I don't know, talk to Jim about this, why the city is always running behind everybody else on collections. Does anybody understand that? I don't. You know, everybody's 98 plus, somewhere around 98.5%. Cities less than 94. I said, I know we talked to Jim, he was out of office for if he knew one of that. I've wondered about it before, I just never had to talk to him.
Did y'all ever meet with this Tom Freeman guy?
Yes,
We'll talk about that later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had talked to him, right? Oh, I still don't have the report back.
Oh, you don't have the
No.
report back?
And he said out there that day, it would probably be a while, or maybe a couple of months, wasn't it? Isn't that what he said,
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah.
It might be a couple of months before we hear anything about it. But he talked like, as far as his report, and it would be favorable to fix that we discussed with Chris out there.
One of the, two states that we got my house in.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
First American title?
Yes, sir. They overpaid us for recording, I believe.
Oh, okay.
What did we refund them?
Oh, wasn't it $5? They just
Yeah.
one deal for it, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Is that what?
They sent us something to record and they overpaid us.
on the lightning strike at the airport, or here at the, on the air compressor deal?
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from TAC on that?
No, I haven't, but we're still waiting on Terry to get the form filled out and back to me to send him.
Oh,
He, they need him to certify, the technician, that it, in his opinion, and he said he would. I've got to call him, though, 'cause I've got to get him back to send him. They told me, if he certified that that was a lightning strike, and that's what he told me, nothing much else to cause that compressor to go out. He certified and it approved it, reimbursement. I've got to get hold of Terry. Okay, is there any discussion on the consent list? Questions? Motion to approve the consent list. Got a motion to approve the consent list, we have a second? Have a second, Dan, all in favor? Any opposed? Get everybody signed in. Treasurer's monthly.
Treasurer's monthly report. On the investment change, put money in, right?
A lot of money out.
Yes, you did, you put $230-something there, in interest.
It's true.
You took out $100,000.
$150,000.
Well, that's true.
150?
Well,
You can, I mean, what's the
you know,
problem?
I'm waiting for like 90,000 back from Ronnie's stuff, so.
I keep getting notifications that it's been approved, we just don't have the check yet.
Check's in the mail.
You know, the state's broke too.
Yeah, the stage is broke because I didn't get my agenda and, information, so.
Oh, you didn't get the packet?
No, I mean, Gary, see, a lot of times we won't get it.
Well, see, and we mail those out Thursday.
Yeah, that's what Holly said.
I didn't get mine till Saturday.
Well,
I'll probably get
are
mine.
we on another postal slowdown for some reason? Anybody heard anything?
I'll bet you that mine and Gary's goes, but shouldn't go to Lubbock, but it goes to Abilene, it should come back here.
Yeah. No, we.
Is Abilene still in operation? So forth?
No, I don't know if they did. They closed that facility down.
How's that working out?
Huh?
How's that working out?
It's worked out really good. Yeah, it's fine.
Better get
Yeah,
that.
just give it.
I had one for you.
Item number 3, is consider treasurer's investment change.
This is it.
Did y'all all get a copy of it?
No.
No.
On the above date, Stonewall County has $1,130,086.32 in CDs at First National Bank. It's my intention to lower this amount by $150,000 and remain able to meet Stonewall County's obligation for the period beginning August 16, 2012 through September the 15th, 2012. Gonna lower the CD by $150,000 into the general fund. Well, some of that goes to the road
No,
fund,
this
that's all
will
general
go to
fund.
general this time.
And there's
About 72,000 will come in when we get the grant refund for the dispatch center over there. We'll get 72,000 back.
When you gonna get that?
I'm sure the state will tell me to check
I'm
the
sure it's in the
mail.
mail.
On the state.
But on the last one, I've got notes in there come in this morning on email from the comptroller's office where it's, well, no, the SAA, that's the agency that does the grants. And it's been approved for this last round, and that was the installation on over at the jail on the dispatch center. It's been approved for reimbursement.
You can scratch the name off.
Killing us there, Amos.
Just about time we think we're building up a good fund, she's spending.
Jimmy water blow back, she's knocked another hole in the boat.
Well, you know, if y'all will convince everybody to quit spending money.
sign this, let it go back.
She wouldn't sign it, would
I don't think it was, David.
Did you notice that she's not put my name on there?
I noticed that.
You noticed that?
She's railroading you, boss.
I'll throw you under the bus on this one. Shoot.
All right,
No, I
any
have to
discussion
have
on
a bad guy in this picture, so I'm gonna make it be you.
See, she's just waiting for the next
Well,
bus
she
to come
said that,
along,
said
kick
do
me
that.
off the curb.
She basically said that, $72,000 on you.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know it.
that's yours.
You know, I've got so many bus tracks up my back channel right now.
I will.
Yeah.
You might hold up the bus, but I don't believe you can hold up the train.
All right, any discussion on the investment change? Do we have a motion?
So,
Gary made a motion to approve investment, treasurer investment change, do we have a second? Dave, second, all in favor? Any opposed? This next deal, it's every year, when we get this from comptroller's office, the commissioner's court has to set the sheriff's and constable's fees. Talk to Patty, there's not any need, we're saying we need to just leave them as was. But we have to make that an official motion. And if you wanna read the letter there.
yeah. Fees are about in line with everybody.
Well, what it is, the law requires, and it's local government code section 118113, this law requires each commissioner's court to set fees charged for civil services by the officers of the sheriff and constable, and directs that these fees be reported to the comptroller. But, we don't have a need to make any changes on those this year. So, I guess we need this motion by the commissioner's court to leave our sheriff's civil service fees the same for the coming fiscal year.
I move we leave them same as it was last year.
Have a motion, David, we have a second? Second. Second. All in
Who
favor?
second?
I did.
Thank you.
All in favor? Motion carried. Everybody voted for it, so. The next one is basically about the same thing, it's for veteran service officer in order to attend the state training. Commissioner's court is required to approve it in order for him to go. He goes to one training session. Texas Veteran Commission got a letter requesting that we approve for him to attend the annual training. What will that conference be held this year? In Dallas.
Well, we have to budget that.
He usually doesn't charge it back to us, they pay it for it all.
Yeah, but we just have to authorize him to go. Kinda one of those points that you wonder why, but that's just one of their requirements.
That works.
Alright, well, I'll make a motion for him to go.
Okay, got a motion, but Jan, to allow the veteran service officer to attend the annual training, do we have a second?
I will second that.
Got a second, all in favor?
Where's he live?
Huh?
Where's he live?
Knox County, Knox City, I think, actually.
You go driving, Jan?
See, he services.
Well, it depends on where that's the galaxy's going.
He services,
Six Flags.
Knox, Stonewall, and Kent. For whatever reason, Haskell has opted out, they don't. But he takes care of the veterans in Haskell County too, just out of the goodness of his heart. But for whatever reason, Haskell County.
That costs virtually
Yeah,
nothing.
almost nothing.
Yeah, we had like $200 in budget for him, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's and he does a lot for our veterans. I mean, every time he's over here, he's normally got one or two that he sees to try to handle some sort of a question or a problem that and it's usually our elderly veterans, but there's some of the young ones he deals with. I mean, the guy does a good job, and it costs us practically nothing.
Actually, all it cost us is our salary, our part of his salary, which is $1,600,
Yeah.
I think, a year, because he never spends his budget.
Yep.
Yeah. pretty conscientious about it.
And they keep cutting back on what they're providing for those veterans too.
Yeah. All right, item number 6. Consider approval of Glenn Page to work as needed in the absence of the clerk. Last commission report, we approved for her to fill in when you're at schools.
Yes, sir.
What is this one exactly?
We didn't cover hospitalization, emergencies, death in the family, stuff like that, that would cause me to be out.
You don't think your new clerk
Well,
will be up to handle?
right now, no. So just for a while, you know.
Other than trials or something like that, looks like they could probably handle, or just the day-to-day operation, if you were gonna be on a day or two, would they not? Is Juanita about to get up to speed on just the day-to-day?
You know, you don't get up to speed, that quick in
Well, I
that
know, but
office.
I'm talking about just the walk-ins and that sort of stuff, that needs to be handled right now. The rest of that stuff mostly could wait a day or two,
And if I can handle it by phone, that would be fine, but if I'm kind of incapacitated, that won't work. So, if there was some kind of an emergency that rose, but whatever.
She's expecting you taking that helicopter ride up.
Well, it might be my own.
That ain't what you said the other day, Lou. You don't have to go to it.
I can't leave the office.
Like I say, we approved last time for absence for schools, but then, we said it might need for other times, and asked to put it on the agenda for this time, and just as needed.
Did you get, who've you got hired down there now?
Okay, Darla's still there. Her last day will be Wednesday. And Melissa Worthington will start Thursday in her place. Juanita Rash took Cole's place.
I move to approve Belinda Page to work in absence of the clerk.
Motion approved, second. Dan, second, all in favor? Item number 7, approve signature changes for the county district clerk bank accounts. Needs to remove the 2 outgoing deputy clerks and add the 2 incoming deputy clerks to the signature card at the bank. Needs to be in the minutes in order for the bank to do that. So we need to take Holly and Darla off, add Juanita and, who'd you say? Melissa Worthington to the accounts.
Do we need to put Belinda on there also?
No. The girls can sign.
What if
You
you
just
and
need
one,
to guide them.
what if you and one of them are gone?
The other one can sign.
Okay. It don't take 2?
No, just one.
I'll make a motion with, see, we need to name them double.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we add, do we need to make a motion to
We
strike
remove.
Holly?
Right.
You want all that in
Remove.
one motion? We'll make a motion to strike Holly McLaury
And Darla Pearson, remove
Darla
them.
Pearson.
Uh-huh.
And
And
remove those from the bank account and add,
Juanita Rash
Juanita Rash
and Melissa
and
Worthington.
Melissa Worthington.
Got a motion, any discussion? Do you have a second? Got a second? All in favor? Item number 8, consider appointment of election judges and alternates for the next term. We only have a submittal from Patty Walker, Democratic County Chair. We don't have one from Butch Newton for the Republican County Chair. So, we'll have to revisit for the Republican nominees at a later date, but it's something we have to do this month. So Patty has contacted Butch. he thought he could reduce to one precinct, but the lowest number of precincts were allowed is 4. We've already reduced to that. He's gonna have to come up with election judge and an alternate for all 4 precincts. So we'll have to do that, but, statement here says, I, Patty Walker, Democratic County Chair of Stonewall County, do hereby submit the following persons for appointment as presiding judge and alternate judge for elections conducted by the county. Precinct 1, Martha McDowell, presiding judge. Anita Dozer, alternate judge. Precinct 2, presiding judge Renee Spikes, alternate judge Marcia Dugan. Precinct 3, presiding judge Shirley Freeman, alternate judge Darlene Hayes, and precinct 4, presiding judge Brenda Hawkins, alternate judge Daniel Rosenberg. Y'all want to see that list? And what it'd be on the order is, Commissioners Court, Stonewall County, hereby appoint the following election judges and alternates for a 1-year term to begin August the 1st, 2012. Use it for a single, if we wanted to, but I just this for a 1-year term, be from August 1st this year until July 31st next year. Cover all elections.
I'll make that motion.
Jan's made a motion that we
Accept the alternate, judges and alternates as listed.
appoint the proposed list from the Democratic County Chair for the election judges and alternates for the next term of 1 year. We have a second. Doug Burke, second. All in favor? Sign that, and we'll fill in, the list is on the second page. Item number 9, consider option for mosquito control at the airport. Dave, are you gonna check on ground operation?
I did click JP's picture on the old rig, makes it big, it's easy. We've got 8 rigs going right now from the Pittsburgh ranch. He said it comes out that he got this job, that he'd be down here within 3 weeks or so with the rig paper. Gordon, what he did is very in line with aerial spraying and more than likely have a better percentage of kill with ground than you would aerial.
Did he say what he thought he could take an acre to do that?
He don't, aerial will not touch it less than $35 an acre, and that's what he's basing on there.
How many acres is out there?
80.
I talked to the Tri-County sprayers, and basically can't spray it. That's who my dad's been using, that's where he's been spraying out there 2 years ago. If he's not spraying it, that, I'm sure that's remedy and reclaim there mixed together. You know, he's just put a shot of grazing on, which is 2,4-D. It will run you for 14 bucks an acre, but you're not gonna get, you're gonna have to do it 2 or 3 times to kill it from out. Well, Them little trees like that, you might not,
Just 2,4-D,
it's gray zone, it's just got 2,4-D in it, so it's got,
and that's it.
well,
Just go with people that.
I think it does, could start a real big dose of it. But, you know, I talked to that, I didn't get to talk to Vance, and Vance didn't call me back, but I talked to his ground man over there, and I can't call his name. He told me, you know, they had sprayed some in the fall, but it just didn't kill. You know, if you're gonna spray with that gray zone, you need to spray it in the spring, you know, when that stuff's budding out, to get a good kill then. So, and if you're gonna, I talked, me and David talked about this the other day, I made a spot for him, the best way to go.
He recommends some of this, do it now, just like we said,
Yeah.
without going down from
The looks of
the
this,
rest.
as solid as those little mesquites are, the spot's gonna be 80 acres. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's not just a place where we got a group in here and then we skip. I mean, it's, you agree to that assessment, pretty much from one end to the other?
Pretty much from one end to the
I
other.
mean, it's just solid little mesquites like that tall.
But I noticed you had down to shred it before you spread it, we don't need to shred it.
I haven't shredded, all I did was shred around the light.
Oh, okay.
We just said the whole thing, just do it, you know, there wasn't any really huge right there.
Right down the edge of the runway. Did you see this thing? I'm sorry.
I don't know, it's, you know, been a long time ago, my passion for it was, how they did get a kill on mesquites with 2,4-D. I mean, you can burn the leaves, but as far as killing into the root system, but now, if you've got pick around in it, that will, it's a slow kill, but it does pretty well. Of course, that primarily was developed for brick repair. Unless they've changed the formula some over the years.
They've done a lot of aerial spraying up in Pittsburgh in the last few years. He said they get a lot better kill with the ground leaves and the aerial.
That gray zone is all they've got to use with airplanes, and I just don't see how they're getting any kind of kill to speak of, I guess, unless you do it
Oh,
multiple
the remedy
times.
and reclaim is good. They,
Good, what's in,
I don't know what the, one of them has got Tordon in it, I can't remember which one of them has got Tordon in it.
well, that's my pick around.
That's for
Tordon, too.
Well, Tordon's good on mosquitoes, yeah.
If you put a heavy enough dose on it.
He uses Ranger reclaim.
Is he using remedy reclaiming water? That breast buster mix? That'd probably be the best deal there for the ground rig.
It does 200,000 acres up on Pittsburgh.
200,000.
He could be here within 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, he said he'd have a rig up there down here.
Actually, that'd be better. We've been, my dad's been spot spraying him in that CLP field in September. He's got, well, John, he was sprayed him for me, spraying that field in mine last year, that Falls Park place in September. He got a good kill.
We're gonna have to do something.
I make a motion, we enter into a contract with, JT Spitzer, or Spitzer Spray, whatever you call it. There you go,
What's his name?
JT Spitzer.
Pitcher spraying service.
Spraying service.
We got a motion, we enter in contract with Pitcher spraying service to spray the mesquites on the airport, have a second? Got a second, all in favor? And that was for 2,800. Yeah, if we don't do something with them buggers out there right now, by this time next year, they'll be as tall as a cedar. And we'll just have to tumble with the airport check. It's pretty thick.
I'll call him after one.
Huh?
I'll call him after one, tell you.
Okay.
All right. If you let that go like that, let it go now, just well, to get the runway too.
Yeah.
Cause it's gonna be a.
You might be coming up in the crack before.
Yeah, I'm 5/8 on the track.
Item number 10, consider the burn ban. As of yesterday morning, the Ketchum-Bound Drought Index had us in the 600 to 700 range. 575 is where the Texas Forest Service recommends the County Institute burn ban. And then for the next 14-day forecast, or estimate on it, the west half of the county is expected to jump into the 700 to 800 range. I printed these off this morning, go and look at. I've got Stonewall County circled in.
Okay.
But we, irrespective of the shower we had last night.
Haskell County had put a burn ban in effect?
They've never done that.
They done it about a month ago.
Yeah. And see, us and Haskell running about the same, but on just a little further with Colpena County, they're up in the highest range now. Of course, they've got, over the last few days, they've burned about 800 acres down there.
But see, they had rain back there and grew some grass back there.
Yeah, it did. I mean, at one point back in the spring, went down there, everything that was whole water was full and grass was head high down there. So I guess all that dried out. It's now burning.
They're burning right now. Austin Kingdom's burning right now.
Yeah.
Have they not got that fire tamped out?
As of this morning, they said it's about 60% contained. Of course, that, the fires we had over on the west side of the county, this last week, was the lightning strikes. But, of course, the air was damp, it had showered, but there wasn't a whole lot of fuel was burning except that CRP tube.
That is.
Out there, that pasture bar out there on the other side of Gary's, or actually on the old TGR place, I guess that's, on the
They
river.
said that fire was on the old Crabtree place. There's no old field down there. What they said.
Well, I never did make it to it. I was afraid to try that big canyon the other side of the old Gibson tank, because I wasn't sure how that road ran down through there. So Kenny and I decided we better get out of there before we got rained in and had to stay.
Well, that could happen.
Yes.
I'm thinking about that canyon you stay.
Yeah.
You stay in Parliament Kingdom, good day.
Well, your side of the canyon wasn't bad. It's this side of the canyon that was really beginning to get slick.
I seen a guy hung up on
I
one
have
of those
too.
drivers.
And drive up.
It's dry, it's just dry as it can be, pretty day. It's
Like-
hot.
God, it was hot.
Couldn't get out of the canyon.
They stuck going down the hill,
Going downhill.
going downhill, stuck going downhill, this guy did.
How'd you manage that, Gary?
Yeah, we just know where to stay low in the huddle and got hung up. Had to walk a half mile, get to a high spot, up we'd make a phone call.
And it's got some pretty sharp turns in it.
We got right down there in the water.
You need some special Hoy antidote, don't you?
Oh.
Well, I don't know, we're getting to the point, guys, where things are really drying out. The only really kind of saving grace is we just not had enough rain to grow anything to burn in most of it. Of course, the west half of the county, I guess, we didn't burn it off last year, but I'm assuming most of it's been grazed down. Whatever y'all like.
You're the fireman here.
Y'all know how I feel about the burn ban. I guess I'm the only one in the country.
No, you're not the only one.
Well, like I say, we've had a few little showers, and if y'all wanna just take this thing off, we'll revisit it in 2 weeks. I mean, it doesn't seem that we're in real dire straits right now, but like I say, there's just not a whole lot of fuel in Stonewall County to burn.
Just did.
What, I forget, What's the advantage of a burn ban if we have a fire?
None,
There's no advantage?
None.
none.
We're just trying to make people aware that it's drying up the burn?
Basically, yeah. If we get
They don't have
some
enough
kind of a
sense to
big
burn that
breakout
out.
fire, and we can't handle it with our resources, we call Texas Forest Service and they'll be
Eventually.
eventually. Actually, by the end of the summer last year, they got pretty quick responding.
Well, that fire we had out here across the river, this year, you know.
Yeah, they got here.
They got it out here pretty
Yeah, they
quick.
brought 2 dozers down here and
Yep.
we're here pretty quick.
We knocked that thing out and loaded their BS out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, Kenny had just bad circle beam when they got there.
Did you blades make it all the way out there to that one the other day? I didn't know whether they'd get there before they had it put out or what.
Let's see. He had it written on here. 3 hours, 2 motor graders, 6 hours one time.
What's your pleasure, guys?
I'm gonna table it.
Move the table to burn ban.
Second.
Got a second, that was quick. All in favor?
No, let's keep it on the agenda.
I'll have it back on the agenda in 2 weeks. All right, consider upgrading courthouse security. You know, I've been digging for bids and I've got 3 bids. I really only have one that's a real complete bid of what we asked for. And it's pricey, but we've got the funds, and that's the only thing we can spend those funds for. This is for, to upgrade our panic button system, and that's to tie in to our existing system, which is a good system. And then cameras inside and outside, and have a 4-week loop on our DVR system to monitor. Anyway, to put that full system in, and it's a good system, and probably could do a little cheaper than that, but that's kind of what we get, is a little cheaper. The one I'm recommending on this is with Guardian.
Is that who we're with, is that who put the?
Well, yeah, they can tie into this system, they've got it in and tie into it, 17,000 and change on it. The other systems, and they're, like I say, quite a bit cheaper. Texas Homeland Security and Sound, theirs was just shy of 10,000, but their system was to bypass our present panic system. Their buttons would go to their office in Lubbock, and then they'd have to pick up the phone and call the sheriff's office. If we have that kind of a problem in the courthouse, we need some instant response. And with the system we got, we hit one of the panic buttons here, it instantly goes to all law enforcement accounts, including immediate. And if the button's been hit a time or 2 in the county or in the courthouse by accident, and I must say, we get a pretty quick response out of the sheriff's office and DPS. They're here right now. With that cheaper system, we might get it in just, you know, it might be pretty quick, and again, it might be 30 minutes. The other system's OSI, and it's an incomplete system. It's just for some cameras and stuff, no security system outside the camera. But that Guardian, it's the system that we need. I know it's kind of pricey, but like I said, we have the funds to make, and that's the only thing we can use those funds for.
And what cities? How much is in that courthouse security fund?
Just shy of 30,000.
18 of it is in the CD and then 12,000 in the bank account.
Is that basically $5 every ticket? No? Does that fluctuate?
I don't know what, the JP charges, we charge $1 for every case that we fund.
You charge $1?
$1 for every case.
I didn't know if they
Can you
had
have a taser thing?
Do what?
Can you have a taser?
A taser? You want us to get a taser? You know, sometimes I kinda like to howl. Man, right there on the desk, we're just.
Yeah, you know, like the old judges used to have a double barrel shotgun on the desk, you need a taser on that.
Or man up on the ceiling, pulling it down.
These one of them's got them,
2 wire?
them wires,
Yeah.
so they, when they start running from you, you just keep giving it to them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm thinking that we're only gonna need about one more major courthouse incident around, and it's not gonna surprise me at all if they don't start making all of us put in metal detectors and all that other stuff. Just like down there in Taylor County. You go through a full meal deal when you go into that courthouse. And most of the other counties of 10,000 or greater population are already at that point. Luckily, they've not made any mandatory requirements on the smaller counties. That's not going to surprise me anytime.
I think they're moving a few of those offices out of the courthouse, you know, I think the court cases is what they worry about.
Yeah.
I think Ruth's gonna get eventually get to move out. They have to go through it
Yeah.
twice a day every time they come together.
Yeah, and there's only one door over there you can go in there. I mean, you can go out some of the other doors, you just can only come in one door.
Yeah.
And see, if we did something like that, it would.
We had to shut all the doors.
Shut all the
Boy,
doors
can
except.
you imagine the little bitty courthouse old people come and go and have for 500 years as
Yeah.
a police, and all of a sudden you start to go through the metal detector and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, which door are we gonna enter? We're gonna have to set it up at the handicap door. You know,
Yeah.
they go through one door down, we'd have to do the same thing here.
Yeah.
So you'd have to set it up at the handicap door, if somebody come in down here, they'd have to go all the way around.
They're sitting up here and handicapper have to be winded down by somebody.
Yeah.
Sally, Sally.
Sally.
But anyhow, that one system, Guardian, from what I can have studied on the thing, that's the system really that we need in here right now. I think to upgrade the system, that'll upgrade the panic button system, and that's to put one in every office in the courthouse. I can't hardly see you having some offices with them in there, even though they're non-county offices, they're still in the courthouse. And if that office has a problem, the courthouse has a problem.
There's a pretty good chance that somebody had trouble still spelling in the hallway.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling towards it.
Then it can flow anywhere.
Yeah, and in the bigger offices like Patty's, like the tax office, where they have a single button in there, this is bigger than putting at least one more in your office.
You know, the only, fight that I ever knew that took place in the courthouse happened in the county agent's office.
And I'm putting the button in your,
Man.
have them figured for that office.
Cody. Oh, man.
Does that system, does it have the fire alarm in it also?
No.
It doesn't?
No, our fire alarms, no. That's a complete system, and, what's that been, about 6 weeks ago, we got the bill for the upgrade. They come in and fixed it, our fire alarm system hasn't worked in, I don't know how long. But we got that up and going, so it's fixed.
Can we pay for that to that security fund?
I haven't got a bill on that yet.
They never did send, well, they made it, these people here are the one that looked at it. And they come back and replaced, had that one button down there on the door at the far end where you go out, the way it was mounted originally when the building was built.
Y'all talking about.
They couldn't reset it, because it was sitting there, it had the corner on one side, and the door facing on the other side, and the little lock you have to get into to reset the thing is down, you couldn't get to it. So they moved it out and put a different box and everything on it. And they never did send a bill on that.
Yes, sir.
So maybe that was
They
just
send
an
on
upgrade
TV,
they
they
gave us
must
on
send us a
that.
bill.
But will this system, do these people here with the panic button system, do they have a fire alarm that would cause like night or weekend that would call the sheriff's office?
If nobody's even here, then.
I have not asked him about that, because I can find out. But it would, I mean, just the panic button system, wouldn't automatically do
Right.
that.
But if there was something that would, I mean, since they've already got the transmitter here,
Yeah.
if there was a heat detector or
Yeah.
gas
I can
detector.
certainly ask him.
Ask them about that. Because it shouldn't be, since we've already got the transmitter, should be that much higher.
It shouldn't. I'm sure asking about that.
You're gonna send us a bullet camera, you understand what's coming back?
Of what?
A bullet camera in the bid,
Yeah.
and they're like a bulletproof camera? That's reassuring.
But these
First
got,
thing they're gonna shoot out.
Yeah.
safety domes and, you know, the tamper-proof stuff and all, yeah. I still haven't made a determination where we wanna put the monitor at. I don't know if I want that booger in my office, I don't, you know, I don't know where we put it inside.
Does it come with warranty?
Huh?
Does it come with warranty?
I'm sure it does. I don't. I've never seen anything like this. It doesn't come with at least a 1-year warranty, but I will question about that.
Is it solid, taking pictures or still pictures every so often?
As far as I know, this thing is, it's a continuous loop. That's what the way they talk to me. And I assumed that was a continuous thing.
4 weeks worth of.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Will it clear itself out at the end of that 4 weeks, or do you have to reset it?
I think it clears itself out. I think what it does, it starts to erase the 4 weeks, and
One day comes off,
and another day goes on.
Oh.
But you can go in there and change it, you know, you can change the,
Weeks.
you can go in there and change the deal, and you know, you can save those. I guess that,
Well, that's what
it's a
I mean.
DVD, so it's got to be on
Something happened
a
after
disc.
supposed to get a full
You
week.
go in there and take that
You need
disc
some
off and
evidence
save
or
it.
something like that, if something happened,
yeah,
you know,
you
court evidence.
can download it.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing,
Bathroom mess.
Yeah. Well, all we have to do is just see who went in and out. See, I don't know whether it was, when I cleaned that up, if I missed a spot or if this was a new one, which Ricky cleaned up in the back stall. Oh, it's been 3 or 4 weeks ago now.
Think I had camera in there?
Found a, I'm thinking, you know, how do you get the film on the floor like that unless you continue to?
you got to be a really bad shot.
Really bad shot.
Man, that's no public.
Yeah, no, actually, the county attorney come in there and he said, you looked at the install in there? And I said, no, why? And he said, I ought to go look at the floor. I thought, oh, no. But it wasn't a malicious thing like the last, other than the fact it was just
Just
in,
mess.
just in the floor. Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but.
Man,
Yeah, Ricky got the question. Bless his heart.
combat thing.
Combat. But I sure would have liked to have a video camera to at least see who they've gone in and out of that bathroom in there that time before.
These cameras be stationed where you can see all the halls.
See all the hallways. I think there's 5 inside and 4 outside.
You'll look a little grainy like in a convenience store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now these.
Hey, if Patty tries to run over, we'll have to.
On this one with Guardian, they're high resolution cameras. On the other one, it's gonna be those little cheaper cameras, these are green, but on this one, it's supposed to have where you can recognize faces. It's supposed to be high resolution.
Is it gonna make me look fat?
Well, no.
No, you look about 6'3", about 220. That's 4 abs, no, you be real. Yeah, it's not a cartoon, you see.
But to answer your question, I'm sure there's a warning, but, it wasn't expressed, and I didn't ask about it, but I will find out.
Okay.
Did it mess you up there, Dan?
You kinda got some.
So you need a resolution to authorize you
Authorize us to
purchase the
install.
system
Yeah,
and
have
make
it-
additions to it
Yeah,
as needed.
as needed.
Then I'll make the motion for you to do that.
We have a motion to contact Guardian Security Solutions to have this security system put in at $17,151. That's to upgrade our panic button system and put the camera system and monitoring system.
And then you'll check on adding those other
Yeah,
things
I'll
to
check
it.
on that and the fire alarm thing too.
17,000
$151.
Cause you may be able to get a maintenance contract or something like that.
Well, see, we have a maintenance contract with the system already. They were just here, what's it been, about 6 months ago, ain't it?
Probably.
Yeah, they come in, they check all the buttons, they replace batteries and everything. See, the main system's in this.
So they may consider that fire alarm deal, that may be one we never got a bill on.
And that may have been part of their system, because they were here checking all that stuff. And I know they first said that I need to go down there and move that thing out and block out there so we can get to that thing. About a week later, they showed back up and replaced the whole new switch stuff. I just assumed we'd get a bill on it, but I guess that's part of the system. But anyhow, they replaced, do you recall what that maintenance is, about $1,600 for every 2 years, isn't it?
I think so, we just paid it here around the first of the year, it was about 1,600. I can go look it up exactly, but.
But that maintenance program can be paid for out of that courthouse security fund also.
Yeah.
That's another one of those.
Yeah.
Well, we ever thought that if we got that through the legislature, you got to tip your hat to them, you know what? They outfox the entire Southern California.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a motion to, I guess, give me the authority to upgrade this security system with the Guardian.
Looking at the score here, I'll second.
If we can add a cartoon channel to it. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Glad you're keeping up today, Horn.
All right, this next one, I told City I'd bring this up. I already know maybe what. A little background update on this item number 11. No, 12. I'm sorry. Some months ago, the new city administrator was in my office. We were discussing things. We had given them the little pickup, that we couldn't use at the fire department to use for their night watch. And we were talking about that thing, and apparently that little pickup used more gasoline than 2 big pickups. Oh. Anyhow, but talked about redoing the whole night watch situation over here, and he was talking about the need probably to make some major changes on that, simply because we had uncertified personnel doing night watch duty, and there's any number of situations that they could find themselves involved in by being on the night watch around town that could really leave the city open for liability issues. And he asked me then, he said, if we change that thing out, do away with the present night watch, what would you think about us? We could probably take the money that we're spending on that and hire another deputy, certified police officer, to do the night watching duty, that way they'd have certified. My comment to him then was, if the city's willing to pay for it, I don't think I'd have a problem, but they need to check with the sheriff, because the commission would have to be carried. I council, we noticed where they had had an issue, and they voted to pay half of another deputy's salary. So I talked to the new city administrator one more time, and kinda indicated that, my stand, I feel like it would be the commissioner's court stand. If the city was willing to pay for that, we wouldn't have a problem, but I didn't think the county would be willing to pay for another deputy, or any portion thereof. But I said I would bring it up to commissioner's court for discussion.
Have they visited with the sheriff?
Yeah, the visiting sheriff, and he's told them that he, you know, he carried the commission as long as he had some control over that position. And so the administrator asked me, he said, well, do you think maybe they could cover, the county might could cover the, like the employment end of the thing, like the social security and workers' comp, and that's, of course, he by necessity would be a county employee. That's where we stand. But my position is, if the city wants, I mean, keep him strictly inside the city. I think they kinda want him to do some of the night watchman's duties as far as checking on their water levels at their tank and, you know, making sure they're not overflowing the water tower and that sort of thing, along with kind of deputy duties inside the city limits.
Can they, how does that affect their insurance and stuff on those bids if we don't have a night watch?
I can't answer that, I don't know. I would assume that it would probably make the rates cheaper inside the city limits to have,
If you have that.
I would assume.
I don't know. That was how it used to be over that fire department deal, you know, a city truck, and
Yeah.
so many certified long, then the insurance company did away with all that key rate deal,
Right.
so they don't get that deal.
Yeah, so I don't know how
I don't
that
know.
would affect the rating system.
And is that night watchman, was that, yeah, I think that was part of that insurance deal.
They do not pay completely half of that second deputy, they only pay half
Half
of
the
his
base.
salary.
Yeah.
They do not pay any
Yeah,
payroll costs
on the
whatsoever.
deputy right now, on our second deputy right now, what the city's contribution is covers about a third. And we're covering 2/3, because they're covering half of his base salary. We're covering all of the workers' comp, all the national social security, Medicaid, and of course, all the operating expenses, vehicles, gas, that sort of thing.
What were they willing to provide here as far as, travel, a vehicle? All they were talking about is just half the salary?
Well, that was what I understood the motion at the city council was, but, the city manager told me that he was given the authority to negotiate with the county to see what we could all come up with.
If we paid half that, we'd still basically, if we had paid social security and all that, we'd still be paying probably 75% of that.
Well, 2/3 of it, you know, like we are now on the second.
Basically, we'd be on the three deputies.
Yeah.
And then he would just be limited to inside city limits and not go outside city limits.
That was my understanding, during the nighttime hours, much like the night watch situation. We're gonna do that for like 5 nights, hire somebody for 5 nights a week, and then the rest of the time, kind of the deputies that's on duty now, kind of fill in, but not limited strictly. I don't know. But my stand was on it, you know, if the city was willing to foot the bill for that deputy, I mean, I'm talking about providing
I can
all
see
the
that,
costs.
if they do that, or fund the whole thing.
If they'd fund the cost of the deputy, as long as the sheriff would go along with it, on his commission.
The sheriff told me that was the only way he'd do it.
Yeah.
If he had complete control.
Yeah. And I understand that, because that deputy would be operating under the sheriff on their commission. And if I were in that position, I'd want to have a say on what he did, because anything he does, the sheriff is held responsible.
Basically, we're paying 2 deputies right now.
Basically, yeah. demographic of the county, the majority of their time is spent inside the city limits of Ashland.
He's told us right here in his court report that 90% of his work's been there
It's
inside
not
the
here,
city
it's
limits.
not inside city limits. But I told him I would bring it up, and we'll have a discussion about it. Well, like I said, I still, just like the point I made from, if the city's willing to fund the thing, I don't mean partial funding, but if they're willing to fund it, and the sheriff went along with it, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
And that's my way of thinking.
I'm like you, as long as they will fund it, it just stays right here in the city.
Yeah.
We'll just, you just keep negotiating.
I'll make a motion that we just table it till we, have more details, how about that? Would that be fine? Word that way?
I can't see limiting an additional deputy to just inside city limits when sometimes they might actually be needed outside city limits.
Yeah.
Well, I think by law, they're gonna be required to respond anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
If something came up and they were on duty, I mean.
Well, that's like the fallacy is if the sheriff gets in a hot pursuit and he runs somebody to the county line, he stops. That's the fallacy. Doesn't happen. You got law enforcement that's licensed in the state of Texas, and they're either in pursuit or they have credible evidence that the crime is being committed. They can cross jurisdictional boundaries to do that. I mean, it's half the SWAT operations my son's involved with down there from Carrollton that actually happens over in North Dallas.
And then the other deputies would have to be available for the other 2 nights.
Basically, yeah, because about 2 nights is what they will.
Do they have a night watch, does the night watchman go 7 nights a week?
I guess it does.
And then,
Yeah, they have two people that do the night watch, and they alternate out somehow, I don't know what their schedule is, but
Are the other deputies gonna be willing to work for the other 2 nights?
well, that'd kind of be up to the sheriff, and that's how he wanted it.
yeah.
Okay, and that's the reason I told him point blank up front, you'd have to get the sheriff on board with whatever you did, because this comes under his license. So, got a motion to table it until we get further information on it. We want more discussion, or we want somebody to second that, or we want to go in some other direction, or is it going back for lack of a second?
No, I'll second.
All right, we got a second motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor of tabling that issue until we can?
I'm sorry.
Item number 13, open forum. Jerry.
Well, I really got nothing. I think something off.
Nothing today.
I'll take that.
David.
No, sir.
Kurt.
Yeah, a couple of things. The water, how much longer is the pool gonna be open?
It shut down when we closed business last night.
Last night. All right, so we're gonna try to let the city sell the water, or?
Well, right now, as we speak, Ricky should be down there watering the trees in the park right now.
Watering the trees?
And then whatever we have left, that was on my deal to discuss what y'all wanna do with the rest of it. There's been some expressed want, kind of wanted that water, but how do we decide who gets it and who doesn't? I can see that being a
Yeah.
potential problem.
Well, maybe we just need to leave it in there and water the trees.
That's kind of what I was kind of thinking. And, the city has quit watering the park, as they should have.
Yeah.
They've got to be sprinkled, but we've got a lot of trees in that park, and if they're allowed to die, then we don't have a park.
Yeah.
So I told Rick to get in, when he gets time today, go down there and start the process of watering those trees. The only problem, and talk about, you know, if we didn't decide to do anything with the rest of the water, you know, just hold it and you water the trees again until we use all up. The only problem is once that water sets for a period of a few days, then we start getting lots of algae in that hole. I really don't wanna do that. We might could hold it for a few days and then just pump the rest of it out on the trees.
What about keeping it kind of doctored without you wouldn't?
So you have to keep it circulating to
Well,
do that.
you can use that pump, it's usually to pump it out with.
Yeah, we'll actually probably use two pumps, the one that pumps off the bottom, and then he'll put his sump pump down. And we'll use both of them out there watering the trees, so we can get across the pump.
But the sump pump, if we hold that water, we can just throw some shock in there.
Yeah, but without circulating it.
We'll circulate with that sump pump though.
Oh, that's good, yeah. We'll have to do that. And just have to continue to water the trees as far, try to keep them alive.
Yeah. We were gonna hold some of that water for a few days to see how far it leaked down, did it?
Actually, once we get down out of that trough, most of the water we're losing is to evaporation. And we're gonna get the stuff kind of decided and we're gonna have it on here one thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna seal up everything in the trough, all of the intakes, everything, seal them all. And then replumb from that west pump out and go down in the trough where the two drops are on that west end, put down in that, of course, they'll be sealed off. And then pump from that to circulate in the west pump, and then we can get that water up in there and all of our plumbing is exposed. I'd really kinda like to do that, even that we're pulling out of the bottom. Seal every bit of that old pipe, because that old piping,
That's where we were at
how long-
14 years ago, that's where we were at.
Yeah.
Going back.
Well, see, but here's the thing, they cut those trenches down there and replaced, but there's no way that under that bottom was replaced. How would they have done that?
No.
So we still, I mean, if part of that old piping had rotted out and is all black steel pipe, you know, the rest of it is gone, we've got it. So we're losing some water, but not that much to leach right now, once we get down out of that trough. But everything is pulled out of that trough, it goes very quickly. And I think we can go in there and replumb all of that thing and come outside. We just have to be sure to get it anchored, because that thing gets off the ground, I think, and go down that wall on the bottom center and do a double, just a T there, and go out and turn down a 90 down over where those intakes are at the bottom. There's two of them, to where we just got a small clearance, put a little grading system that we can take off and clean from time to keep the big stuff, and we can suck into that, off the bottom into that east pump like that, and then stay in the trough and go down that side for that west pump and pull into it. And all of our piping then will be new PVC exposed pipe that we can see, and have all that other old piping down there just capped off. I'm thinking that's kind of what I'm thinking we're going to have to do. I don't think we have any choice if we're going to continue to operate the pool. That way we can limit that water loss to strictly to evaporation. And in a pool that size with that many kids in it, you're going to still lose quite a bit of water just to evaporation, nothing to the extent that we've been losing. But no, we had it scheduled to stay open through this week, to shut down and close the business next Sunday. But after our town hall meeting and the concerns around the community about the water, and I have not had one complaint about the pool. But after we've given it some thought, and it's something I've struggled with the last 2 weeks. I mean, how can I justify doing that, other than the fact, it's the only thing our kids have to do. But we've managed to keep it open most of the summer, so I made a decision at the end of last week that we just had to shut it down. Come find out, reading the Abilene paper this morning, several other counties around us made the same decision. They shut down yesterday too. And had to cancel a few parties that were scheduled. I thinking that, I think that re-plumb, just seal up all of that old plumbing, cut it all loose and seal it, and go external plumbing with new PVC and the whole thing. We can make it all work, we can circulate that water like that as well, if not, probably better than this, because on that east pump, the one that pulls out of the bottom, about 8 to 10 pounds of pressure is all we could ever get on. That's all the water we can suck through all that old pipe. It's just plugged up, plus leaking. We should be able to run somewhere around 15 to 18 pounds of pressure on those pumps. We couldn't get it, so, on that new one that we plumbed in, I can get that one. But we'll lose a tremendous amount of water pulling through that old gutter system down there in that pipe. Yeah, I still haven't figured out that plumbing that they did down there 13, 14 years ago. I still don't know what they did there. All I know is they didn't put any cutoff valves in it. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
I'm thinking I think I can make that work. I'm gonna go down there, once we get it drained out empty this year, I'm gonna study that thing, but I think we can do that. And have a good circulation system, better than we've had for a while. And I've already, with water plumbing this year, we have a system that we can actually clean the pool with, that we've not had in any time. Anyway, that's that one.
Okay. You gonna talk about the appraisal district budget too?
No, I'll let you. Well, we approved your initial budget.
Yeah. They may have to raise it.
Yeah.
After this preliminary budget?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I don't guess anybody brought that.
Well,
I know
they may have enough money in CDs to
Yeah.
do what they need to do, but.
I know they've had the contract with Petrie to get their mapping system online, but I think there's some other issues that he's probably gonna have to work on.
What is they gonna have to raise?
Well, they're gonna have to spend, was it right at $70,000 for that mapping system? If they contract with the.
Well, they had the funds to put it in. I think for Petrie Associates to finish getting that thing up to speed was like $7,500. But the other issues, if they work on that, and that's probably what's gonna happen. Now, this is just nothing.
Yeah,
this is just what I've heard, what I've been kind of told them, is that thing could cost a few tens of thousands of dollars to get the consulting firm in here to straighten up all that's wrong down there in that office.
They say all the parcels, every house, every parcel will have to be looked at.
That by law is supposed to be
That's what
redone, yeah. The values are supposed to be refigured every 3 years.
Not only refigured, but inspected.
Yeah, inspected.
Visibly looked at.
Physically looked at. What Mr. Petrie said that they've done in Taylor County all these years is every 3 years, and I guess they did some each year, but it's a rotating basis, but every 3 years, every property down there was looked at, photographed, measured. And they had the photographs on record. Whatever house is a building, and that's something we just not done.
Where do they store all that at?
Huh?
Where do they store all those records at?
That appraisal district office. You can go online and look at it.
They got a big enough area?
I think it's all digital.
Yeah.
It is now.
But anyway, in order to get this appraisal district office up to pass the inspection on this thing, it's probably gonna cost them a considerable amount.
Yeah.
Is that proposed on the budget yet?
They have a meeting sometime this week, I think.
I guess once they figure out exactly what they're gonna do, then they'll present, they'll come to us and see what, but I haven't had anything official yet. I just had some discussion, and they're not for sure yet exactly
Yeah,
what
they're
they're
not
gonna
sure
have.
what they're gonna do,
They just don't know.
but their budgets are looking, could still be in question.
No, just get enough to do it, you just budget on your salary
Yeah, the salaries and all that, I think that's set. And most of the other operating expenses is just what it's gonna cost on some outside consulting work to try to get the office.
We could start that chief treasurer with Mace pay, then I'm gonna start with that on it.
I don't think so. That's all I had.
Jan?
I just wondered how Mr. Myers' interview went.
Oh, it went real good. I should brought y'all to speak on that. They interviewed 4 of us, 2 spots. That's a strange deal. Went down there and interviewed in front of those 5 men on there, 5 people on the executive committee. Anyway, then they turned around and they brought us back in there and showed us the resolution we're gonna run for the whole VRA board, which I think there's 27 voting members on that, 24, 27 voting members on that. And anyway, they recommended 2 of us. So anyway, we're all sitting in there and they go, well, we recommend Mr. Myers, some attorney from the Constitution. Anyway, so I go back next, I was back this Friday.
17.
Yeah, that's it, 18th, isn't it? That's this Friday.
I was thinking the 17th.
Okay, I'm going back this Friday again. Anyway, I'll be down over there with the entire BRA Board of Directors votes then. So, anyway, it's not official, but they said normally, so they've never seen the executive committee's recommendation get voted, shot down, but anyway, so that's what we went. So, anyway, go back. But it went good. It was, like I say, I've never seen call everybody in there and just tell everybody right there point blank, you didn't get in, you got in. You're out, you're in. Thanks. It's kind of, like, everybody gets it, goes, congratulations. Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Sound like the Food Network took off?
Kind of like, you win, you lose, so sorry. Anyway. So,
Good.
but anyway, that's where I'm at, so, and I mentioned the lake, saltwater project out there, and, grubbing trees out of the river, you kind of work like that to get towards the flow. I mean, they asked me what I thought, and I told them, anyway, like I say, and then since then, I read, I got pick up a Texas Monthly, and I got a Co-op Power magazine. Did everybody get that Co-op Power magazine? Mm-hmm. It says in there, you don't get it, we got water.
I don't think there's any agency or individual in the state right now that doesn't realize we're going to build some more reservoirs.
But when they said
So when it does rain, we can kind of hang on to that water for a while.
That's what I told these guys at first. I said, here's the deal. I said, y'all know what I do. This drought we're in, when it breaks, we're going to get about 16 or 18 inches out there. And I said, it's going to all go down to Brazos, and it's going to all end up in the Gulf of Mexico. I said, we need to get reservoirs where we capture it. Anyway, they just kind of laughed. But,
Well, their water plan that they've got online, so that they want to enlarge Miller Creek.
yeah.
And then they got one over by Post, and then one just a little bit further northwest of Post.
Yep.
Those are the only ones that they've got in West Texas.
Yep.
All the rest of them are in East Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the deal that they kind of spoke of that. Simple fact, the population's down there.
Yeah.
And my deal was, well, we can hold the water, send it to them if they need it. Ain't no big deal. But anyway, yeah, that Mill Creek bill, bring y'all up to speed on that. There's a guy named Mike McGuire, and he's over the groundwater, for that Knox, Haskell, and Baylor counties. Anyway, he did a pre-review before I went down to the executive meeting. Anyway, we were talking, somehow got off of Mill Creek bill, and that little old creek out there north of Wynert, he called it by name. Miller Creek's got the paperwork in there right now, at Austin, and it looks like it's gonna go through. So they're gonna trench from that creek over to the Miller Creek watershed. He said 3/4 of a mile, looking at the trench, or build a waterway through there or whatever. And he said when they would double Miller Creek's watershed catch bill what that's gonna do is when they trench across there, he said that's gonna bring all that water from Rochester, you know, all that country gets some water over there, all that water drains back that way, or a bunch of it does. I guess there's a crown or some of them, but don't go to the river, it's back. Anyway, when they put that trenching on in, he said that'll send that water back to Middle Creek, but he said when they get that in, he said they'll double Middle Creek's watershed.
You know, just like they did California Creek.
Exactly, exactly.
They'll put in, is it gonna be an inflatable dam, or is it?
He didn't say, he did make comment to me though, so if Middle Creek would've had the resources when they built it, I forgot how far down, not very far, like maybe a couple miles, not very far down, if they could slid that dam down, he said they could, well, he told me 3 times the size of Middle Creek now, if they had had the resources to have done it. So of course, he said, knows all about the money. But anyway, you know what? Expanding that watershed from Middle Creek would be a big deal, looks to me like.
Well, that's the problem now, their watershed is so limited, that's the reason.
I didn't realize where, you know, that thing's back over on the east side of Haskell County over there.
Yeah.
Is basically where it's at.
See,
It's not that big a watershed.
I think when that thing first filled up, we got a big rain over it, filled that, I don't think it's been completely full since then. I don't think it's ever caught enough water to fill it back completely full.
Like
One time.
Like, yeah, a couple of years ago, it's been way over that spillway, you know, you go through the spillway before you ever get down to the lake. All that, campground,
That's
everything's
just-
underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, that's kind of what the indications were we were getting from this thing, that the watershed was so limited that they just can't fill it full.
Yeah, it was that. I mean, they'll have to build bigger or something if they catch this other watershed. It'll go right back down the creek there.
What did they say about the salt project? I mean, is that, what?
He told me that the problem with the salt project up there was, what's really killing them is everybody downstream, he said, 10 years ago, went ahead and put in a desalination or RO system, whatever they put in. He says, those people who are trying to use that water have already tooled up. So he said, because I said something, I said, well, when we put something up there, he asked me, said, what do you know we'll do? I said, I don't want to put a dam on that thing. I said, we don't need no 10,000 acre brine lake up there. But I said, you know, I'd like to see us fix that, let it salt to get out of that water. And his comment was, well, he said, the reason the BRA that our group was living so big on that anymore was because everybody downstream had a salt problem where that salt content was too high. It already rigged up some sort of desalination plant or RO system or whatever, so.
We got that.
So they kind of, that PK. Yeah, well, they're trying to take that water out and use it. They were kind of in and around the deal, so. Anyway.
PK and Granbury were both having salt problem.
At that meeting the other day, PK was 7 foot low and Granbury was a foot low. And I was White River, and now in there about 6 or 7 foot low. So, anyway, but.
White River's just 6 or 7?
I'm sorry, Lake Alhena.
Oh, Alhena.
Yeah.
And right now, we're not running a drop of water down.
Has it quit flowing?
Yeah, it's quit flowing.
I didn't know I had been running that
So
way.
I guess that's. Yep. Well, maybe we've started the process, we'll eventually someday we'll get them to get behind us on the way.
But anyway, like I say, I was, yeah, it went good, and when they asked me point blank, I told what I'd like to see done, so.
Right now, this lake out here, it's still on the 50-year projection, the 50-year plan. This lake out here is on that plan. It'd be nice if we could get it moved up.
I said something about that down there in that meeting. I said, I also understand that, Lake, that's a pretty big project. Now, we get all the hoops cleared. I said, I realize you're not going to build one of them overnight. And every one of us started laughing. There's a lady over there, she's the attorney she's on that executive, and she really took it. I'm sure she knows all about the nightmares of building a lake on the Grass River, the Grass River somewhere, so.
How many lakes do they build in here?
They didn't say. I know in that co-op magazine, it said they had 27 reservoirs staked, isn't that right, in the state of Texas right now? I don't know how many of them on the Grass River.
can help you hot.
I'm kinda anxious to get back down there Friday. See what? Yeah. That guy that just got me the other night, that, David Keeler, he's gonna, see, they've got a bill in their bylaws where if you're on that board, you can give somebody your proxy to vote your way, so he's gonna be down there to vote for it, because, Judge Floyd can't be there, so anyway, he's going down to vote, Judge Floyd, he's gonna vote, yeah, so anyway, for sure, he's a real nice guy, that is real, he's pretty enjoyable to talk to, a lot of knowledge about that.
Didn't talk to him the other night over here.
Anyway,
Well,
that's where I'm at.
we're hoping you can carry it.
Hopefully Friday, it'll be a done deal, so anyway.
Anything else, Jim? Patty?
No, sir.
Amy? Keith? You got anything you want to talk to the board about?
Well, I just wonder about this city, them wanting a deputy. If they're paying half of the deputy salary, and you won't pay another half of the deputy salary, won't they just go ahead and hire them city marshal and be done? I mean, that just makes common sense. Why involve the county at all?
Well, I think in order to have a city marshal, we have to have a municipal court set up.
Well,
But I don't know, you're asking me, city,
Yeah, I
we've
know.
got nothing to do with what the city
well,
does.
I know, but I mean, does that not make sense? If you're gonna pay two halves, why not just pay a whole and you have them at your bidding?
That's their
That's the
issue.
question.
I can't give you.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, I'm just,
Did you have anything you wanted to add or say? No? As usual, I've got a few things. Well, we've already covered the swimming pool. As of yesterday, that was the last day for the.
Kurt, you ought to be fine to bring those pictures in there.
In a drought, I raised grass butter. I didn't realize I had them on paint there.
Just bring up to speed a little bit, information on the Swanson Fire, FMAG. It would work on so much, well, I got a notice this last week. They have turned us down on everything to do with the volunteer fire department and Kent County volunteer fire department, to the tune of rejected $103,755. However, that's not the end of the story. The reason for turning that down, they're claiming that was for donated resources only. When I submitted this package, on the cover letter, it clearly states, and I can pull the letter up, and I've already pulled it up and sent him another copy of it, that these fires will fall under the authority of the state of Texas mutual aid agreement. And attached a copy to that packet I sent in. They're claiming that they had a copy of the volunteer fire department's mutual aid agreement with Kent County's volunteer fire department. So they said they were operating on an as is, we cover our own expenses, and that's the way it is. I asked them where they'd gotten that. They didn't get it from me, and we're the lead agency, and I'm the guy that sent all that stuff in, and I clearly state on the cover sheet on that thing that it was covered under the state mutual aid agreement, because we had so many fire departments in here.
Yeah.
You can't operate on one small volunteer fire department's mutual aid agreement with another small volunteer fire department. So, called him, and he said they got that thing because when Kent County submitted their packet to us, and we sent their packet on in their packet, that mutual aid agreement that they had was in there, and for whatever the reason, they chose to use that one. Of course, that's the one that got them out of having to give us it. So I called Cobb, talked to Tom Mann down there, and got his reading on it. I said, Tom, send me a copy of what the COG's mutual aid agreement that all 19 counties in this COG town. Somebody needs to correct me if I'm wrong on this thing, but this was not a volunteer fire department run operation. This was too large for them. This was a county-to-county run, and besides that, the volunteer fire departments don't get FMAGs. Only county organizations do. But they were trying to use a VFD agreement to turn us down on a request for aid on this thing to the county. So right now, we got it under appeal. I don't see how they can not overturn the original ruling, simply because they're using agreements that doesn't fit this situation. Because the volunteer fire department didn't apply for this FMAG. The county did. Therefore, this thing has to be operated under the county's mutual aid agreement. And the county's mutual aid agreement with COG, along with the state's mutual aid agreement on this thing, all clearly allows us to request aid. So they've used a little obscure document that they picked out of Kent County's packet to deny the whole thing. So it's under appeal. They did approve. When we'll get to see the funds out of it, I don't know, but part of that FMAG, they did approve it, and everything where we submitted for reimbursement for county road department expenses on this thing, that was approved, along with some other things, some of the other volunteer fire departments. King County made out like a bandit. They approved every dime that we requested for them. But every other volunteer fire department that was listed on that thing got cut way down, and our volunteer fire department got completely out, us and Kent County. But they did approve on the county $43,920.77, which they'll reimburse 75%, so that'll make somewhere $32,000. That's been approved, but we're appealing the other ruling. I hope maybe sometime this week to have some answer on it, maybe. But it's only taken a year on this, so I don't look for anything too quick. But it's a simple yes or no. Deep should be. So,
If it takes them a year to figure out that they're gonna pay you, how long is it gonna take them to write the check?
good question. That's a real good question.
It'd be cold check.
Cold check.
And all of this, I suspect a whole lot of this is just delaying tactics simply because the state's out of control. But this is federal money that we're talking about here. This is through FEMA.
Does that come into the state? Do they control that? Yeah. Hand that out?
TDM actually controls. So anyway, we like I said, we appealed that ruling on this thing. I don't see hardly how they could keep from overturning the original decision because they were using a document that couldn't have been used to control anything. Because this wasn't a volunteer fire department operation. This was a county operation, county to county. We had all kinds of state and federal agencies in here, and we had other fire departments from all over the state. We have from Corpus Christi to Victoria, San Antonio, all in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
But all them people get approved for everything.
I'm sure everybody else got their funding. All of those departments got their funding.
They got their funding for sitting on the road.
Yeah, for sitting on the road. And
That's
see,
why
there was
they was very
They've been playing the game.
yeah, and there was a bunch of the fires that an FMAG was not issued on, but come back on supplemental, and most all of those have already received their funding. It's just the ones that got the FMAGs, and those are supposed to be the priority fires that we're battling to trying to get funded. And I'm assuming that Fisher County's the same way on the Cooper Mountain fire, because I certainly haven't gotten anything from them yet. I suspect they're running into the same problems we are on the Swenson farm. It's just kind of a strange situation. that's where we're at. I officially appealed that ruling last Friday, so I'm hoping we'll get something back on. I'll call, Emmett Lopez down at TDM later on today if we get time, if not tomorrow, and see if he has heard anything at all from them, any rumblings to what they're saying about it. So he's the guy, he's the point man that we have to do all our coordination to, and those things. But anyway, that's where we stand on that. The bids for the roof at the community center, I've got a partial bid from Bar Roofing. They're still waiting on, what it's gonna take to lift the air conditioning units. They were waiting on Terry to get them a bid, and he's too snowed under, so they've gone. They called me last week, said a representative from Bacher and Associates will be here sometime this week to look at it and give us a bid. Light Hook, they came, it's been a month ago or longer, and a guy come up and went over that with me. So, and I never did get a bid, so I called them last week, Mr. Ray Tidwell down there, and he said, well, he had emailed me a bid. Back told when, so a couple of weeks ago, and I said, well, I never have received it. So he said, well, let me get you another one. I still haven't got it either. And I know they got the correct email address, because he read it back to me, but I still haven't. But I called them early this morning, because it still wasn't there. Called down there and left a message with the receptionist down there, and gave her the same email address. I don't know what the hold up is. But I told them, I said, fine, guys, we were hoping to get this work done completed before September the 30th on that thing, so we could cover it with the funds we've got set aside on this budget side. Bar says that they can do that. No problem, they're just waiting, they should have, as soon as Baker comes up here and looks at it and gets their price, then they can get us a full price on it.
Who did that, the courthouse?
Bar, yeah.
And then you used to.
And go ahead, I know you were at that meeting that Lisa was at, over at the school. That phone stuff.
Yeah.
It's not working out over there.
It's not working out, they got hold of it.
Did the hospital do that too?
Yep, hospital and nursing homes got it.
It's not holding up.
Well, I don't know about the hospital and nursing home, but the schools is not open.
I mean, every time we have any kind of little hailstorm, it's punching holes in it. Anytime anybody has to get up there to do any work on it, if they step on it, if they drop anything on it, or whatever, it just, I mean, it's just that old soft foam. You know, they.
Got brittle.
Yeah, it's just that old yellow foam, we put about an inch or an inch and a half coat of that on there, and then they spray it. They say some kind of UV protection. I don't think it's anything more than just a latex paint. Back off and throw a rock into that stuff, like a hailstone would be, and I'm not holding it. It seems to me that the kind of roof we've had put back on here that we've had on here recently, on these flat roofs, is the only way you can go with that stuff and get it to hold up.
I think you put them flat roofs on there and you figure out, you know, well, if you were the judge or Bob was the judge, you know, 20 years is what they expect a flat roof to last.
Yeah.
We run this in for 30. I mean,
yeah.
We asked for a
that one over there has been there 30.
I mean, you just need to realize that about starting on about year 18, you probably need to start trying to figure out.
Yeah.
How to start a replacement project.
Yeah.
Unless you had a bad hailstorm, you know,
right.
Something, but basically, water and tire says about every 20 years you can come in there.
Yeah. You know, like I said, we've got 30 years out of both of these. You know, we replaced this one last year, trying to get that one replaced this year. We had some bad leaks here, we got a few minor leaks over there, but now's the time to replace it before those minor leaks become bad leaks.
Huh? You call?
Yes.
So what you're saying is for 20, when we 2030, we need to get on the agenda.
Yeah,
Tell them
exactly.
Replace the roof.
Can you take care of that, Patty?
Well, that's on the agenda for 2030. You're not gonna have anybody replace that roof in the leak.
How much we got left?
If I can get these people off the dime, I hope by next meeting, I've got something to present to court for us approval to get a roof put on over there, because we're gonna be running out real close to getting it done on this year's budget, so. And I've explained to both of them, that's why I started this thing 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's taking so long to get, well, I know why, Bar, they've been holding up the.
Air conditioning.
Yeah.
Hey, Judge, our ladies need to take a break.
Oh, do they?
Can we stop right here?
Yeah,
for
we
just a second?
can stop, they can take a break.
That works?
Take a little break.